Just about a month ago, I was blessed to be on the first leg of sabbatical and visiting Poland. And one of the great places to visit there, of course, is the Divine Mercy Chapel there right at the edge of Krakow. It is a place where Jesus gave the words of divine mercy to St. Faustina to share with the whole world. It's also the place where he gave her the image of divine mercy, of his very self, with his heart pouring out the white and the red rays of the white rays of baptism and the red rays of the Holy Eucharist, extending his love and mercy to the world. I would have to say that while I was in the chapel, I was kind of swept away by God. I was kind of completely with him for a period of time, so much that I lost track of time. I was totally swept away by the presence of God there and totally at peace. As I was leaving there, I thought to myself, wow, it'd be really nice to be in that kind of peace in my whole life, in all parts of my life. Perhaps you've experienced that before, where you've had a great moment of peace, and when you kind of reflect on that, you think, wow, I wish my whole life was that peaceful. And yet life happens, and we go back into kind of the ordinary lives that we live, and there sometimes our peace is disrupted. Today we hear about that from St. James, because he is encouraging us to think about the call to be at peace in our lives. He said wisdom from above, that is God from above, is first of all pure, then peaceable, gentle, compliant, full of mercy and good fruits. And he says the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace for those who cultivate peace. It's a very powerful line from St. James. The fruits of righteousness is sown in peace for those who cultivate peace. What does that tell us? That to be at peace is a choice that we make. And we get to make that choice for our own hearts and minds and souls, but also we can cultivate that in our lives so that others can also see the peace of Christ within us. James helps us to see that there is a wisdom that is given to us from God, that we're meant to be at peace. And so today there is kind of a question begged of each of us: are you at peace? Do you have a peaceful, filled life? Is your mind at peace? Is your heart at peace? Is your soul at peace? Is your relationship with God at peace? And relationships with others in your life, are they at peace? These are important questions because we know that sometimes we can lose our peace, and we get a choice of whether we will kind of re-embrace that grace in our lives or allow our lives to kind of go awry. The disciples knew this well. Today in the gospel, we hear that the disciples have been pulled aside by Jesus, and he is teaching them about one of the most important theological truths that we know of what he is getting ready to do for our eternal salvation, for their eternal salvation, that he will suffer and die and rise from the dead on the third day. One of the most important things that he could talk to them about. But what are they doing? They're arguing. They've completely lost sight of the peace of Jesus before them, and they're arguing about who will be the greatest in the kingdom. Who will be the greatest? They are not at peace. St. Thomas Aquinas, perhaps you've heard or read this part of the Summa, where he talks about the big four distractions from God. The big four things that can most easily distract us from God. In other words, steal our peace. Wealth, pleasure, power, and honor. And the disciples are talking about who will be most honored in the kingdom. So their peace has been stolen from them because their focus is on something that is not of God. And Jesus' response is very powerful and unexpected. His response after he asks them, "What are you arguing about?" is that he brings a small child into their presence, and he embraces that child. In the Jewish culture, a child has no power. A child has no place of honor. Yet Jesus embraces the little one and says, "Whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me. And whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me. Why did Jesus use a little child to invite the disciples back to a place of peace in their lives with him? Well, if you think about children, especially children who are kind of in their element of, say, playing by themselves or even with others, oftentimes they kind of get swept away by the play. There's not anything else on their minds. And it's kind of like me in the chapel there, Divine Mercy in Krakow, that I was swept away in those moments. And children often have that happen where you've seen it, your parents or aunts and uncles, and you've done it yourself as a child, but you get just consumed with the play before you. Give a child a box, they can play with it for an hour. We've seen it many times. Send some kids out into the backyard to play, and they can be consumed by the fun they're having. Over Labor Day weekend, I was with some of my family, and one of my little nieces and nephews chased each other around a room one evening for like 2 hours straight, just laughing and playing, and they were totally in the moment together having a good time. They were swept away, if you will, by that moment, and there were no distractions. And Jesus then kind of says, this is a model, this is a place, be swept away by my presence. When your life is not at peace, you need to come back to me, in other words. Come back to the one who extends peace to you, help you find peace in your heart, your mind, your very lives, your souls. Now, I know this is not always easy because the reality of our lives is they're very busy and there are a lot of distractions and we can easily have our peace stolen away. Yet, Jesus calls us, like a little child, to humility instead of honor. He calls us to peace instead of power. Jesus invites us to not allow our peace to be stolen, but yet when we're in struggle, when we're in trial, when we're finding it to be difficult, to turn to Him. What steals your peace? What can steal your peace in your life? Is it the pursuit of wealth or material things? Is it power, pursuit of honor, the need to be popular? Does scrolling through social media steal your peace from time to time? How about this one? Politics, elections. I hear it in the confessional almost every day now, where people's peace has been stolen away by the upcoming election. How about someone or something at your work that steals your peace? A difficult family situation. Or could it be jealousy, as James talks about? Jealousy of desiring things that others have, or the place in life that others are in, or other things that their looks or what they wear, or all those things that can create jealousy. For one, it could be a perpetual sin, or the passions that James talks about steals their peace away, or the devil seeking to divide and isolate. Fill in the blank. All these things are possibilities for our peace to be stolen. But as we know, Jesus teaches us that it's a choice that we have to make whether we'll cultivate peace in our lives through His grace, and will we cultivate peace in our world around us through His grace or not. And so we have a choice. In any moment of our peace being stolen, what will we do? St. Faustina, in her diary, wrote, "Mankind will not have peace until it turns with trust to my divine mercy." These are the words of Jesus to us through Faustina. Mankind will not have peace until it turns with trust to my divine mercy. We could say that this is kind of a roadmap to peace when we're struggling in our lives, when our peace is being stolen, that we are to turn to the one who is divine mercy, to trust in Him, no matter what the circumstance of our lives are. I would propose that Jesus clearly wants us to be at peace because 3 times after His death and resurrection, as He appears to His apostles, He greets them with these words, "Peace be with you." 2 times in the upper room as He comes back after His resurrection before His ascension into heaven, "Peace be with you," He says. And then on the shore of the Sea of Galilee again, as He encounters them, "Peace be with you." So He wants our hearts to be at peace, our minds, our souls, our families, the world around us to be at peace. And so in the face of difficulty, in the face of trials, in the face of our peace being stolen, we should 3 times turn to Jesus in the words of divine mercy and say, Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. To bring us back to the one who is peace and who can give us peace in our lives. Today, towards the end of Mass, we will offer each other the sign of peace. It's a powerful part of our celebration today in the Holy Mass that we extend peace to one another. And we can kind of just go through the motions and kind of nod to people and smile, or we can really mean from our hearts that I choose peace in my own life, and I hope peace for you too. I hope the grace of God is abundant in your life so that you can receive his peace today. And so as we extend peace to one another, it's a sincere Christian way to hope that there's peace cultivated in our lives and the lives of others. And so, my brothers and sisters, 2 will go forth, and we get to choose. Will we cultivate peace? Jesus, we trust in you.